Right. Oh, you know what? This is why we keep the camera. Let me show y'all. This light is literally just like God in the bathroom with you. The people that were here previously, they were disrespectful as heck. They took the cover off of this light. They took the cord from the back of the TV. They left holes in the wall. They were disrespectful as all get out. Anyways, I was trying to say, well, I'm about to have my butt in the shower. It's my daughter's 8th birthday today, so we're gonna get that going. Probably just gonna go get the cupcakes because they like to bring cupcakes with them to school. They go get those. We're gonna have a normal morning routine with them going to school. While they're at school, we do our normal, I don't know, but what we like to do on their birthdays while they're at school. We go make our rent, get everything to decorate while they're gone. Her birthday presents already came in the mail, so yeah, it should be exciting. It's baby girl's 8th birthday.
Stephanie Jenkins has always shared pieces of her family life on TikTok, gaining a loyal audience who seem to admire her for being a dedicated, involved mom. But that image took a serious hit when a pair of birthday videos exposed what many viewers are calling one of the most uncomfortable truths playing out in real time: favoritism hidden behind party balloons and picture-perfect smiles. The first video that caught everyone's attention featured her biological daughter's 8th birthday. Stephanie was glowing with excitement as she walked her viewers through every detail. She proudly showed off the gifts she had ordered weeks in advance, complete with tracking updates and her telling followers how they had already arrived days before the celebration. The motel room, small as it may be, looked magical. Balloons were floating from the ceiling, streamers lined the walls, there were decorations on the table, a small cake waiting, and presents lined up like she had been planning for months. You could tell she put her whole heart into it. She even posted multiple updates, videos of the prep, videos of her daughter opening gifts, close-ups of the decorations, and even a heartfelt caption about how much her little girl meant to her. It was the kind of moment that made people smile, until they remembered the video she posted just 1 week earlier. That one was for her 9-year-old stepson, Deshaun, and that's where things got messy. Unlike the joyful, colorful energy of her daughter's birthday, Deshaun's celebration felt like an afterthought. Stephanie casually mentioned that they hadn't even gotten him a gift until the day of his birthday. The decorations? Barely there. Just a few balloons stuck around his lower bunk bed. No table. No streamers. No banners. No early gifts. No countdown or TikTok build-up. It was quiet, small, rushed. Stephanie tried to justify it, explaining in the comments that they live in a motel room and that space is tight. She said there wasn't really room to go all out. And at first, people accepted that. After all, not every parent can throw a big bash in a motel. But then came the daughter's party, and suddenly, that same cramped space had been turned into a full-on celebration. It wasn't just a few new balloons. The entire room was decked out. There were garlands hanging across the walls, a full setup on the tiny table, lights, and themed decor. It looked like a totally different place, and viewers couldn't help but ask, what changed? The space didn't. The resources didn't. The only thing that changed was which child the party was for. That's when comments turned from supportive to concerned, and then critical. People started pointing out what seemed to be a pattern. One child was being celebrated with joy and preparation, while the other was being overlooked and brushed aside. Stephanie has always said she loves Deshaun like her own son. But in this case, her actions were screaming something else entirely. It didn't take long before the internet began picking apart the subtle, and not so subtle, signs of favoritism. Some viewers, many of them step-parents themselves, were heartbroken. Others were furious. This isn't just about decorations, one person wrote. This is about a child feeling forgotten. And they're right. Because for a child like Deshaun, it's never just about the balloons or presents. It's about feeling valued. Feeling equal. Feeling loved.
So let me get this straight. Stephanie goes all out for her daughter's birthday. But for Deshaun, he gets a bag of peanuts and Dollar Tree decorations, right? She pre-ordered birthday gifts. She did all of this for her daughter, but Deshaun got what he got.
Stephanie Jenkins, so you mean to tell me that there is no way that you have a favorite when in reality, look at this birthday card. Whose name do you see that is missing? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Krayshawn.
Know what it is about you women and being with men that have kids from past relationships, but the fact that you want to be with a man that has a child with another woman and not love that child just as much as you love your own is crazy to me. Now imagine his mother getting on this app and seeing the clear difference in birthdays for each child. Imagine how helpless and heartbroken Deshaun's mother felt when she seen that. Because no, Drew does not let her see him at all. And Stephanie don't even want Drew talking to Desiree. And then one of the other kids wrote a birthday card for the little girl, and it says, "I'm sorry, but I hate your birthday because I feel left out." But y'all will still sit here and defend them.
Imagine being 9 years old, celebrating your birthday in a modest motel room with only a couple of balloons tossed onto your bed, no gifts until the day of, and then, just 7 days later, watching the exact same room be transformed into a glowing party palace for someone else. Not just someone else, but your stepsister. He may not have said anything. He may have smiled and tried to be grateful. But kids feel that difference. They don't always know how to talk about it, but they remember. They carry it with them. Those are the moments that shape how they see themselves and their place in the world. In the family. Some viewers speculated that this might not be the first time Stephanie showed favoritism between the two kids, just the first time it was so obvious. They pointed out how the tone of her voice even seemed more excited when talking about her daughter. How the camera lingered longer on her daughter's smiles. How her captions were more emotional. It's the kind of favoritism that doesn't scream, it whispers. But children hear it all the same. Absolutely, babe. Here's a fresh take on the same story, told with different details and tone while keeping the core emotion and message intact. This was never really about how big the space was. It was about what someone chooses to do with the space they have. It was about effort. About care. About who gets to feel celebrated, and who's left wondering if they even matter. And poor Deshaun, all he got were a few lonely balloons tossed on a bunk bed, while his sister got the kind of celebration you see in movies. That alone speaks volumes. But what made this all sting even more was what Stephanie Jenkins did after. Not only did she post about her daughter's big day this year with tons of excitement, she went a step further and dug up old videos from the previous year, again, only for her daughter. And just like this year, that celebration was straight up extravagant. The apartment had been completely transformed, walls full of colorful streamers, signs everywhere, balloons covering the ceiling. It looked like a scene from a party planning catalog. And the gifts? Not just casually handed over, they were laid out across the floor like a mini Christmas morning. It was obvious, she didn't just throw something together. She planned. She cared. That kind of effort isn't something you do once. It's a pattern. A tradition. And in this case, it's a tradition built around just one child. Because when you compare it to how Deshaun's birthday looked, it's not even in the same universe. Last year, he barely had anything special. This year, it felt thrown together. A last-minute store run. Some balloons. That was it. The whole thing had the energy of someone trying to avoid guilt, not someone trying to make a child feel loved. And no, we can't blame it on money. Stephanie made it clear they were financially tight for both birthdays. But the thing is, love doesn't come with a price tag. You don't need a fancy budget to make a child feel important. A handwritten letter. A creative little game. A homemade treat. It's about making them feel like they matter. And time after time, Stephanie has made it clear who she puts that energy into, and who she doesn't. But what truly breaks your heart isn't just watching this play out online, it's seeing how the kids themselves are quietly absorbing it, and they are. That became heartbreakingly clear during the most recent birthday celebration. Joe, the dad, was in the kitchen of their motel room, filming himself making burgers, the birthday girl's request. He looked proud, upbeat, like a dad who wanted to show he was involved. Once the food was ready, he passed out plates. First to the birthday girl, then to one of the older kids, then finally to Deshaun. Nothing seemed out of place, until the camera briefly caught the older daughter sitting by herself.
Yesterday was our son's 9th birthday, and we did what we could to create some magic for our gift. Birthdays don't look the same in every household, so let's keep that in mind before we go to a judgmental state on this video, okay? Thank you. See, to our kiddos, they're going to be overjoyed if Drew and I put the most effort we can into getting the gifts that they asked us for. Our kiddos love our cooking, so a nice home-cooked meal is going to be a win-win for them every time. And most importantly, family time. We are a tight-knit family, and we enjoy our time as a family. So with that said, we started our day yesterday by going to Fred Meyer and getting the gifts that he asked us to. Then we stopped at Dollar Tree and got some decorations to decorate his bed before he showed back up from school. And once he got home, he got right into his presents, and then we went right outside and had some family time. And then we had our family dinner.
So let me get this straight. Stephanie goes all out for her daughter's birthday. But for Deshaun, he gets a bag of peanuts and Dollar Tree decorations, right? She pre-ordered birthday gifts. She did all of this for her daughter, but Deshaun got what he got. I don't know what it is about you women and being with men that have kids from past relationships, but the fact that you want to be with a man that has a child with another woman and not love that child just as much as you love your own is crazy to me. Now imagine his mother getting on this app and seeing the clear difference in birthdays for each child. Imagine how helpless and heartbroken Deshaun's mother felt when she seen that. Because no, Drew does not let her see him at all. And Stephanie don't even want Drew talking to Desiree. And then one of the other kids wrote a birthday card for the little girl, and it says, "I'm sorry, but I hate your birthday because I feel left out." But y'all will still sit here and defend them.
While the rest of the room buzzed with laughter and smiles, she sat quietly, head down, writing in a card. And at first glance, it looked like a sweet gesture. But when the camera got closer, it told a very different story. In her small, neat handwriting, she had written something that stopped everything cold. "I'm sorry. I hate your birthday. I feel left out." Right there, on a birthday card meant to spread joy, she poured out the pain she clearly couldn't say out loud. And next to it, a second card with a hand-drawn face, tears falling from the eyes. You could almost feel the sadness behind every stroke of that pencil. This wasn't sibling rivalry. This wasn't a jealous moment over who got the better gift. This was emotional pain. Real, raw, quiet pain, coming from a child who felt invisible even as the world around her danced and smiled. And the cruelest part? All of this was happening as Stephanie was likely smiling for her camera, uploading clips, thinking she'd done a beautiful thing. While one child sat in silent pain, another in confusion, and Deshaun trying to convince himself his celebration was enough, the family's digital highlight reel rolled on. "Of course, babe, here's a fresh rephrasing of the piece, still emotional and layered, but with a new tone and flow to give it a different feel while keeping the meaning intact." She was right there, surrounded by the noise, the decorations, the camera rolling, but she looked like she didn't belong. Not because she wasn't invited, but because she wasn't really seen. Her sadness sat quietly next to the celebration, and it's more than just upsetting, it's a red flag waving in plain sight. And the saddest part? No one seemed to care. Or worse, they noticed and still didn't do anything. This wasn't the first sign something was off. The truth is, this little girl has been showing signs of distress for a long time. Rewind to Deshaun's birthday. When they got home, she didn't wait for a moment to breathe or celebrate. She rushed to grab the cupcakes from his bag like she was desperate, like she had to take something before it disappeared. That wasn't a sweet sibling move. That was survival mode. That was a child who's already learned that joy is limited, and not meant for her. This isn't just one moment. People who've been watching closely have noticed her energy in other clips, how drained she looks, how heavy she walks, how that brightness kids usually carry just doesn't live in her eyes anymore. There's a seriousness in her little face that no child should carry. She's tired in a way that has nothing to do with bedtime or school. It's the kind of tired that comes from emotional exhaustion, the weight of being overlooked again and again. Then there's the now deleted video, the one where she defended her mom online with such fierce loyalty, saying she loved her too much to ever be apart from her. At first, it sounds like love, but listen carefully. That wasn't just affection. That was fear talking. That was a child gripping tightly onto the only thing she knows, terrified of what might happen if she lets go. It's not devotion, it's dependence. The kind that comes from being too aware of the cracks in your home, and trying your hardest to hold it together so it doesn't all fall apart. She's not just reacting, she's surviving. These aren't just moments of jealousy or outbursts. They're coping strategies. She's been forced to grow up too fast. She's carrying emotions too big for her age, putting out fires that aren't hers to handle. She's not just a kid anymore. Not the way she should be. She's become the family's helper, their little adult. You see her carrying the baby on her hip like it's second nature. You see her cleaning up, handing out food, stepping in while the adults are too busy filming TikToks. She's constantly doing things that should never be expected of a child. Maybe that's why she's starting to fade into the background. She's not treated like someone who still needs care, but like someone who's supposed to give it. Her childhood is slipping away quietly, moment by moment. And that light, that carefree spirit, it's been replaced by a kind of numbness. She doesn't get to rest. She doesn't get to play. Maybe she doesn't even remember what it feels like to be carefree anymore. So when her pain leaks out, it's not loud. It's soft. It's written in shaky pencil, on birthday cards that should have held jokes and love but instead carried confessions. I'm sorry. I hate your birthday. I feel left out. Tiny, careful words, full of enormous pain. And no one noticed. No one stopped. No one asked. Her father was too focused on filming his grill duties, too caught up in the performance to see his own daughter shutting down right beside him. That card wasn't just a card. It was a cry for someone to finally look at her, really look at her, and ask if she's okay, but no one did. And that's what hurts the most. These kids, they're not acting out for fun. They're not causing drama. They're hurting. And the people who are supposed to protect them are too busy crafting the perfect online image to see it. Too caught up in likes and comments to notice their own children falling apart quietly, in the corners of their lives.
Video, and in that video he's showing one of Stephanie's daughters, and Stephanie's daughter just had a birthday like a day or two ago. She's sitting on the bed with a plate of food, and then she has a piece of paper in front of her that has some writing on it. Now the writing is clearly from one of the other children, and it's a birthday card. Now on this birthday card it says, "I'm sorry, I hate your birthday, I feel left out." Now we've always known that Stephanie treats every kid differently, and when I say every kid differently, I mean she treats the girls a certain way, she treats her baby a certain way, she treats Deshaun a certain way. And you can bet that there's favoritism thrown in there somewhere. The fact that they recorded that and showed that, like, they obviously saw that. So they obviously know that one of the kids is feeling left out. And I wouldn't be surprised if that letter is from Deshaun. Because I know y'all remember on Deshaun's birthday when they posted a video, the girls were literally all over his cupcakes. And these kids look sad all of the time. Those kids are sad. Cake, ice cream, and some hot dogs, or maybe even a pizza, does not cost that much. Like, what is wrong with them? It's the audacity, and it's the fact that they do this shit and they know that it's gonna piss people off. But they don't care because the views and the money mean more than their children and their situation.
That birthday wasn't a happy day. It was a moment of silent pain, wrapped in decorations. And that little girl? She was sitting right in the middle of it, disappearing, and no one even blinked. What we witnessed wasn't just an off moment, it was a silent plea. None of those kids looked genuinely happy. And no, this isn't about whether the party had enough streamers or if the presents were big enough. This is about something much deeper, about how love is shown, how presence is felt, and how affection is unevenly handed out in that household. It's about how some children are made to feel seen and others are quietly pushed into the background, even on days meant to celebrate them. The damage doesn't show up loudly. It builds slowly, silently, slipping into the spaces where affection should have been. It plants itself inside the kids, taking root in ways that aren't obvious unless you're really looking. You won't hear them scream or complain. Instead, it shows up in the smallest details, a drawing with tears, a message scribbled in sadness, a child who suddenly seems older than they should be. This wasn't just one poorly planned birthday. It's the result of repeated neglect. Of someone choosing time and again to show up for one child while making the others feel like afterthoughts. Stephanie didn't just forget to make Deshaun feel valued, she ignored the emotional impact her actions had on the rest of her kids. Her oldest? She's hurting too, in ways no one seems to notice. She's been quiet for so long, it's like she's convinced herself that speaking up won't change anything. And that's the most painful part. These kids aren't throwing fits. They're withdrawing. They're expressing their hurt the only way they know how, in the drawings, the silence, the way their eyes no longer light up like they should. And the most tragic thing? The people who are supposed to notice, their own parents, are too distracted chasing likes and views to see what's right in front of them. If you're a parent and you're watching this, let this be your reminder, your children catch everything. Every missed moment, every unfair word, every time you chose your phone over them. They feel it, even if they don't say it. And when you don't see them, they begin to fade in ways that break your heart when it's too late. Tell me what you think in the comments. Was this just a bad moment or something much deeper? Subscribe if you care about stories that matter, because we're going to keep speaking up. For the kids who smile less, speak less, and feel more than anyone realizes. For the kids who are tired of being strong and just want someone to finally pay attention. Thanks for sticking with me through this. If this story hit home for you or made you think about how we see the kids in our lives, leave your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear from you. And if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep talking about these important stories. We're here to speak up for the kids who need to be heard, and we'll keep shining a light on what matters. Don't forget to like, share, and click the bell so you don't miss anything. Catch you in the next one. Stay aware, stay kind, and take care of each other.